thought I'd do another video just to see how it goes. If anybody saw last week's, you'll know it's about the spirit world and about what happens there and what happens here. Lots of people ask me, why are we here? And it's a very good question. In another consciousness and in another time, we decided, along with family and friends, that we would come back to this physical world in a physical body and experience the things we need to make our soul grow, to help our soul to grow. And we made a sort of a blueprint or a contract, if you like, to say the things we wanted to experience that are not possible to experience in the spirit world because the conditions don't exist there that allow us here to experience pain and suffering and love and joy and all the things that go with being a physical person. So we made a plan and we signed a contract in a sense and said that we were coming back to experience the things that we needed to experience. And so we came back. And the one thing that unites mankind is the constant need for progress and progression. And this is what it's all about. The experiences we have here strengthen the soul, strengthen the spirit, and enable us to go back to the spirit world, which I call home in a sense. I often refer to the spirit world as home, for that is where we belong. We don't belong on this planet, we just come for a visit to experience things. So, and unfortunately, the spirit is strengthened by the bad things and the trauma that we all have to suffer throughout this life. And if things are happy and gay all the time, unfortunately, we don't learn a lot. But the spirit is strengthened when we suffer pain. And it's not how many times we get knocked down. It's how we respond to the things that happen to us. So it's very complicated, but we do have a choice in these matters. And when we all sit around and try to blame somebody for things that go wrong in our lives, unfortunately we can't, because these things that we need to strengthen the spirit, we draw to ourselves subconsciously. And lots of people say, I didn't say I do this, or I didn't say you do that, but we did. And when we come back into the spirit, into the physical world, the memory of the spirit world is wiped clean. Simply because if we knew what was coming, probably we'd all go back rather quickly. But most of us stay and see it through and learn what we have to learn. Life is almost like a set of scales. If you do something good, the scales are tipped one way. If you do something not so good, the scales are tipped the other. This continues right throughout our lives. And when we go back, hopefully we'll either be in credit, hopefully. If we're in debit, then it will have to be addressed. So we do have to pay back, so to speak. You've got no one standing over you saying, you did this wrong, you did that wrong, and now you need to rectify it. We examine our behaviour ourselves. And sometimes when you look at yourself and judge yourself, you can be far tougher on yourself than maybe others would. So if there was an occasion when we knew we hurt someone, be it inadvertently or not, then when we go back home and we run through this lifetime, almost like a video replay, we won't feel the pain. We will feel the other person's pain. And sometimes that's a very good tester for us, because we say things flippantly. We've all done it. We say things flippantly, not realizing that we've cut another person quite deeply, and they will not always tell us. So when we go back, we will see all these things, and instead of experiencing what we said or what we did, we'll experience the pain the other person felt. And as I say, it's a very good lesson to learn. spirit communication in the spirit world, we don't use voice. You don't need voice in the spirit world. It's telepathic communication. And you read other people's thoughts in a sense. So one of the beauties of that is that there's no lying. Your thoughts are there to be read by anyone and everyone. And I don't know whether we could cope with that in the physical world. It may be just a little bit too much, and I don't think we're ready for that sort of truth in this world, because we very rarely say what we feel, and especially when we think that what we feel may hurt another human being. So we bottle it all up. Not good for us, but we all do it. So we decided to come back into this physical world. It was our personal choice, and nobody made us. We came back because we wanted to, and we will go back when we're ready to go back, after experiencing everything we need to experience, almost like collecting things in a larder, I suppose. Another thing that you probably won't understand is, why can't we see the spirit world? The spirit world is a far faster vibration altogether, and we are in the physical world, we reside in a much slower vibration. If you think of yourself driving along a motorway at 25 miles an hour, and another car comes into the middle lane at the side of you, and it's same speed, 25 miles an hour, you can glance across into the car and you can see everything that's going on in that car, because you're travelling at the same speed. If that car speeded up to about 70, 80 miles an hour and you stayed at 25, it would be impossible to see what was going on in that car. But if you then speeded up to 70, 80 miles an hour and you glanced into the other car, which I wouldn't really advise at that speed, but it's just for argument's sake, if you glanced into the other car, you could see everything that was going on again. So if you stretch that just a little bit further, you can understand why we, at that very, very slow vibration that we reside, cannot see what is happening in the spirit world, because it is a much faster vibration. So in a sense, a medium raises their vibration to enable them to see what is in the spirit world, and to speak to those who inhabit the spirit world. We all speak to the spirit world. We don't realise it because it's done at the subconscious level, but we all communicate. And when we go to sleep at night and we lay down and our bodies rest, our spirit is free to leave, which it does. And I would imagine it gets quite busy in the spirit world, because we can go wherever we choose to go. From what I've been told, most people go and talk to their loved ones, to friends, to guides, to those they know in the spirit world, and tell them all about the things that are going on in their lives, the problems they're having, and they listen. And they listen. I should imagine they get quite bored with listening. But very often when you go to sleep in the night and something lays heavily on your mind, you get up in the morning after a good night's sleep and you think, oh, it's not as bad as I thought. And possibly that's because you've been chatting while you've been sleeping. You can't remember these chats, because when we come back, the brain is part of the physical body. The mind controls the spirit body. And the brain is almost a conduit between the mind and the physical body. But when you leave the physical body, the brain very often in the night will try and bring you back. It's your ego. So when you're drifting off to sleep and you'll think your body's just relaxing and you're just ready for your spirit to leave, your brain will wake up and think, oh, what's going on? And poof, you're back. And that you'll experience that jump. You feel as if you're falling. It's your brain dragging you back, because it doesn't know what's happening when you're outside of the physical body. It has no way of knowing. So it'll pull you back. But mind always is stronger than matter. So eventually you will go to sleep and you will leave and you'll go to the spirit world and you'll chat to those that you love, and they will give you perhaps a different slant on a problem that you may be having. So when you come back and you wake up, it doesn't seem quite so bad. And your brain, when you come back after these long conversations, tries to make sense and unscramble unscramble what's been going on while you've left the body. And hence you get the weird dreams where flashes of this and flashes of that don't make sense, but they do make perfect sense to the brain. It tries to sort of put them into some sort of order that the physical world will understand. You dream very often of your loved ones that have passed the spirit. Please don't think that it was just a dream, because you have been with them while you've slept, and you retain a part of that memory, and the brain tries to unscramble it and put it into something we can understand. They're never far away from you. They always listen. We never listen to them, but they always listen to us. So there are lots of things going on around us that we don't understand. But it's a strange world, and truth is sometimes stranger than fiction, isn't it? People ask me, what is spiritualism? I say, is it a truth? Is it a religion? For me, it's a science. Life is a science to me. Excuse me. I know categorically that I will not die. I know that when I cast aside this physical body, and like an old overcoat, that I will move forward into the spirit world. And it's like if you break a leg. If I break my leg, I hopefully not break my leg. If I do, I know I've broken my leg. I don't think I might have broken it, or maybe I might have broken it. I know. And for me, and for many others like me, I would imagine, the spirit world is an absolute. We know it's there. I know that's where I'm going, and it gives me great comfort. I'm not quite ready to go yet, but it does give me great comfort. So there are many things we could discuss, and I hope I will get some questions, because it's much easier to answer a question that someone else has put to you than to answer one that you put to yourself, in a sense. I don't quite know what else to talk to you about today, because it's quite a lot to take in one go. But what I would say, as I said last week, the universe is in very good hands. We are all in very good hands. So I look forward to speaking to you again next week, and maybe enlarging the subject. I can't get too scientific, because for a start I won't understand it myself, and I'm sure you won't, but I will try and give it to you as plainly and as simply as I can. So I'll leave that with you to think about for now, and say good night. And thank you for listening.